Welcome to the show. I am your host, Amy Kardashian, not Kardashian. On this show, we educate and empower humanity. I bring guests who have an inspirational stories and also who can share the knowledge and experience and wisdom they learn throughout their journey. I have a great guest with me today. She's a good friend of mine, Dr. Frantonio Pollins. And she is a speaker, author, educator, amazing. She's gonna share with her all of the establishment, what she established in her life, but she also going to share with us her powerful story. So welcome.
Thank you for having me, Amy.
It's nice having you. I know you for a long time now. You always inspire me every time I saw you in events or anywhere. I see the energy that you have. You present yourself in a way, such a positive attitude, and you love to be example to others. And today we are going to talk about how to change the world by empowering women.
Yes.
And that goes along with Women's Federation for World Peace, which I am the Special Liaison Officer for the United States.
Awesome.
We empower women also in leadership.
Yes.
Now enough about introduction. And I
it.
want to start with you. Can you give us a little bit of establishment, where you at now, and then we're gonna go to your inspiring story.
Absolutely. First, I wanna again say thank you for inviting me onto your show. It's an absolute honor to be here.
Absolutely.
My name is Dr. Frantonio Pollins, as you said earlier. I am a native of Las Vegas, but have traveled all over the country and outside of the country to empower women. The work that I do in the world today is, if I had to sum it up in a title or a phrase, it would simply be feminine leadership expert. And I primarily work with high achieving women entrepreneurs or C-suite leaders who are looking to not only do great work in the world, but leave a positive impact in the world.
Nice.
Yeah, working with women who want to do more than just work for the sake of work and more than just work for the sake of money. They want to work for the impact and the legacy that they can leave in the world. And so I get to travel around the country. I also do virtual coaching. I have clients all over the world. As I'm saying that, I'm in awe of, the ways that women can use their talent, skills, and abilities to really empower and change the world. And so, my journey, it hasn't always been that way. So, as I stated, I grew up here in Las Vegas. I grew up with 3 brothers. I'm the only girl. Grew up in a pretty traditional household, pretty religious household. And that upbringing was wonderful. I had great parents, wonderful upbringing, but it left me a bit overprotected.
Okay.
And so when I went out into the world as an adult, there was a lot of culture shock, a lot of things that I did not know. I discovered that I lacked a confidence. I lacked a certain bit of power around my individuality because of the way that I had been raised, simply based on the fact that I was a girl.
Okay.
A girl. There were things that girls could do and boys couldn't do. And again, I had a very traditional upbringing, a very patriarchal upbringing. And so the thing that brought me to the work that I do in the world today was a medical catastrophe. Several years back, I moved from Las Vegas to Atlanta, my daughter and I. At that time, my daughter was about 8 years old. I relocated to Atlanta to start all over. Got to Atlanta, great job, met a wonderful man, got involved in a relationship, and we merged our families. He had 2 children. We merged our families, and about 9 months into the relationship, as I had always done, I went for my regular checkup. As I had always done, I got an HIV test. I had previously worked for an AIDS organization here in Las Vegas as outreach and education. So for me, it was normal to just get tested regularly. Got tested, and I received a letter in the mail informing me that I had tested HIV positive.
Wow. Wow, could you imagine that?
No, I couldn't. I could not. I couldn't imagine it. I could not believe it. I could not accept it. I literally lost my mind. I literally,
I can imagine that.
I ended up having a nervous breakdown. And the course of that experience, so I get the letter in the mail. We're asked to go to the health department. At the time I was living in Fulton County, Georgia. Go to the health department and they give us this diagnosis. And intellectually I understood it because I used to do the very same thing as the people in this health department. I used to sit across from people and give them their results.
And now you're receiving.
And now
that.
I'm
Oh, my
receiving.
goodness.
Now I'm receiving the same diagnosis that I would share with others. So immediately you go into this whirlwind of all kinds of tests. Now mind you, this was 1999. In 1999, HIV/AIDS was a death sentence. There were not the drugs that exist today. There was not the empathy or the understanding. Friends and family members would turn their backs on you. And I had that happen to me.
And they get scared, like,
They get
oh, you have
scared.
AIDS. Even if you're
Absolutely.
standing next to me, that's gonna.
Absolutely.
Okay, so when we come back, we are going. A lot of people probably they're shocked right now, but you're gonna learn more about what happened and how she dealt with it and what happened. Okay, and I can't wait till everyone here. Okay, we'll be right back.
Thank you for calling Denim Revival.
Hate to say goodbye to your favorite jeans? Well, now you don't have to, because Denim Revival is here for you. Mail us your jeans and our professionals will fix it right up. We offer you all kinds of alteration services, including invisible repairs, let-outs, taperings, and original hemming, or even have your own custom-made jeans. Quoted the best denim repair shop by GQ, Vogue Magazine, and LA Times. Denim Revival, your search for alteration and repair ends here.
And to you it ain't pretty little thing. Howdy, your baby.
And we are back with Dr. Frantonio. This is a deep, deep, deep subject.
Yes, it
Okay,
is.
not everyone could accept what happened to you. And can you tell us what happened after that?
Yeah, so my life became just this ongoing cycle of doctor's appointments. As I said, HIV/AIDS in 1999 was considered a death sentence. And so as afraid as I was and my family, the doctors were afraid because they really didn't know. Outside of seeing someone come in, get diagnosed HIV positive, within months, they would end up with full-blown AIDS because their T-cell count would be so low, and they'd be gone within a year and a half, 2 years. So my life became a battery of tests, like doctor after doctor, psychologist, just every kind of doctor
Your life
you can
changed.
imagine.
It's
My
just
life
like your life completely upside down.
Absolutely, completely changed.
Emotionally, mentally, in every way.
Yeah, absolutely. About 2 weeks after getting the diagnosis, we discovered we were expecting. And in that state,
Wow, okay,
we made a decision that I know I would not have made otherwise around that pregnancy.
okay.
Again, HIV/AIDS, we just didn't know at that time what the outcome would be. I began to sink into a depression that literally made me suicidal. Although my daughter was present in the home, I was literally an absentee parent. I was on autopilot. I'd get her dressed for school and send her out, and the rest of the day I was just in this dark hole.
So you detached your emotions from
Absolutely.
everyone.
From everyone.
From
my daughter,
everyone. Okay.
my fiance at the time. Like I said, I had friends and family that turned their backs on me. But my father kept calling every single day, like, this does not make any sense. Like, I had just gotten a life insurance policy not too long before that. He just kept, every day he would call, and the internet, y'all, this is back in the day. The internet wasn't what it is today. And so he would clip articles out of magazines and send them to me. And this went on for about 2.5, 3 months. Every day he'd call me and say, it just doesn't make sense. my fiance had tested negative. The person that I had been with prior to that, unprotected, was 10 years prior. And so there was no explanation for this. And as depressed as I was, I couldn't hear my father say it doesn't make sense until one day something just said, go get another test. And I went to get another test, and the results came back negative.
Wow. Did you hear that?
And so
Wow.
back then, because they wanted to make sure that this wasn't a mistake, they required that I do a
Again.
third test, which they called it a rapid test back then. The rapid test now is a swab, and you get it within 20 minutes. Well, back then it was a 2-day or 48-hour test. And so that was the longest 48 hours of my life.
I can just imagine that.
And so, again, this third test came back negative.
What
You
did, where did you go from there in your mind? How did you feel in that moment? What happened in that moment?
Yeah, so in that moment,
I could see you teary.
I was clearly relieved. My first question to the doctor was, what happened to the person you told 4 months ago that they were negative and they're really positive? Because what they discovered is that they had mixed up the vials of blood.
And who knows what happened to that?
And so I immediately went from being a patient that they cared about to a potential litigant,
Yeah.
and the walls went up for them. And as the walls went up for them and their empathy dissipated, my anger, a
Went
level
to the
of
roof.
anger and rage you would not even understand went through the roof, because my life had been changed forever because of a mistake someone made. My life had been altered forever.
So what happened to the baby? Did you make that decision because you thought you're giving it to the baby?
Absolutely.
Ooh, now there is the guilt,
Absolutely.
right? The guilt of having that let go.
Absolutely.
And what happened to your fiance? Did you stay together?
We
or-
did not stay together, but it wasn't because of
that.
the diagnosis. It was because this man was dedicated to loving me, and in the midst of that, I could not
Love him back.
love him back.
Okay.
I couldn't love him back. I couldn't get past the shame and the guilt and
You pushed him away.
what was considered then a scarlet letter, all tied to sexual expression, all tied to something that had happened in my life, whether it was by choice or by force. And so this situation took me through every situation or experience that I had had. In my past, I had been raped violently, and so it took me to that experience. It took me to, relationships where I'd stayed in the relationship and maybe the guy had been unfaithful, where I'm asking myself in the midst of, prior to getting the realization that it was a misdiagnosis, asking myself, how did this happen to me? I received the rejection from friends and colleagues, and I immediately went from somebody that was seen as a leader and somebody that was, an upstanding citizen in the community to being treated like the scourge of the earth.
Back then they
Back
did
then,
that. Yeah.
absolutely. Back then
Yeah.
they did that. And so, it took me to a place of anger that I can't even understand. I literally went from being suicidal to homicidal. And I don't say that tongue in cheek, I mean it literally. And there was a day I was sitting with some colleagues, and at that time in Atlanta, there was a young man who had gone into an office building, and he had literally gone postal. He had literally killed some people that he had worked with. He had lost a ton of money and gotten enraged and committed this tragic act. And I was sitting with friends, and they were talking about it like it was so tragic. And I said, I could see myself doing that. And that was the day that I knew that I had to go get
Help.
a different kind of help.
Yeah.
Like, I'd been a psychologist, I'd been to church, none of that helped. And that was the day I knew that I had to go and just deep dive into what I call calling back my spirit. Take a deep dive into what was shamed in me. What was it that was triggered in me? What was it that hurt so deeply by the way that I was treated by friends and family and those who I thought loved me? And it all came back down to my definition of myself as a woman. I had never defined myself as a woman. the definition that I walked through life with as a woman, and all the things that were good for me to do, not good for me to do, proper, improper, acceptable, unacceptable, had been put upon me by other people. And that I had been living a life that was performative.
So you get the biggest lesson in your life. And usually lessons are, unfortunately,
Yes.
most of the deep wisdom comes with the deeper sorrow and pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, people say you could learn from positive as well, but the deep wisdom and the change of perspective to see life in different perspective comes from pain. But we're gonna dig deeper with this to see how this, whatever happened to you, turned around to help other women,
Absolutely.
to reach out, to lift them up and be the example you are today.
Yes.
So we are going on a short commercial. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm attorney Eric Palacios. If you or a loved one has questions regarding immigration, call my office at 444-7777. It's important to hire the right lawyer to take care of your immigration needs. Call 444-7777.
My buyer showed me the sofa. I couldn't believe it was only $499. First off, I love the sophisticated and modern look. It's covered in a soft textured chenille fabric, so it's durable. Look at the sleek wood trim. But what about the inside, I asked. Well, inside it has superior S-spring seating that translates into support and comfort. And the accent pillows are included. Larry's price, $499. Now that's some bang for your buck. And with same-day delivery, it can be in your home today.
We are back with my amazing guest, Dr. Farntonia. You are such an inspiration, but I think you get the message that this has happened, unfortunately, it happened for a reason, because you've been given a special gift to be the leader you are today.
Yes.
And that needed to be activated. And
Yeah.
that activated that part of you to get you to where you are today.
Absolutely.
But we need to learn, because a lot of people are down in their life and they're going through different kind of obstacles and challenges and shocking. How can they lift themselves up? What did you do to lift yourself up from that place?
That's a great question, Amy. And it's the core of what I teach in my workshops and my classes, is that we have to define ourselves for ourselves. The idea of performing your way through life and playing a character for every person that you meet is what results in overwhelm, depression, anxiety. Because if I've got to be one person for you and somebody else for the next person and someone else for the next person, I never get to truly integrate with the truth of who I am. I never get to know who it is that I am and what it is that I'm here on the planet to do. And so my journey took me through a lot of study. It took me through studying matriarchal societies, goddess theology, all kinds of spiritual practices and spirituality. It took me through a healing process of mind, body, soul, and what I call psychosexuality, because a big part of my wound was tied to this
Sexuality.
You're right. The perception of this disease that was tied to sexual expression.
Sure.
And so, as I say in my TED Talk, we teach boys to voraciously pursue sexual expression because it validates them in this society we've created. The same behavior in women in this society diminishes and demoralizes them. And so, from the time we're little girls, the very moment we begin to develop breast buds or get hips, there's something that happens in this society that begins to demoralize and diminish girls. Even if we have the most loving parents on the planet and it's unintentional, it happens through media, it happens through music, it happens through television and magazines. And I think until you're in a situation such as the one I was in, you don't really realize the deep impact that it has on you. And so I had to go on this journey to call back the pieces of who I was, who I am as a woman before the world told me who I needed to be. There's a narrative that's written for each of us. So clearly I'm an African-American woman. I will be 50 years old in a couple of months. Born on the West Coast of the United States in 1968. And so each one of those descriptors carries with it its own narrative that people will want you to live into. And so imagine living your life into each of those narratives and never asking, is this truly who I am? Is this what I desire? Is this what I want to do? And so that's one of the biggest things biggest pieces of the work that I do with women. And there are times when I can ask women, who are you? And there's no answer. What do you really want? And there's no real answer. Because very rarely are we ever given the opportunity to answer that question. And when we are, we don't have an answer because we've never gone on a vision quest to figure that out outside of mother, sister, daughter, wife. And so
that's the roles we're
those
being
are the
given.
roles. Absolutely. And the role is not the woman, it's not the person.
Yeah.
The roles can become overbearing. And the roles, it's one of the reasons we see such a high increase in divorces initiated by women the minute that they become empty nesters, or the kids are off in college, and the woman is going, I don't have anything in common with this man I've been married to for 20 years. I don't know who he is. He doesn't know who I am outside of the role that I perform.
It's been hidden. It's been covered.
Absolutely.
All this time.
Absolutely.
And the hope is to start early so you don't have to get divorced. You could stay with the person. When you find yourself, you could stay with the person because you know who you are when you get married. And if you know who you are early on, that's beautiful. Well, so and that's even the kind of message you're trying to give out.
Absolutely. And even if you don't, because we've got women who are in marriages now, even if you didn't know who you were early on, the idea that it is okay for you to begin to discover that and define that for yourself right now, wherever you are, at whatever stage in your life you are, without it destroying your life. That requires you asking for permission to simply be who you are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's amazing. It's amazing when someone comes to on my show, share their story and dig deep into the lessons. What did you gain from it? I always say, my life either was going to break me or make me.
Yeah.
And life either was going to break you or make you.
Yeah.
And then it's making you that leader. The community in Las Vegas community look up to, and the new generation look up to, for a woman like yourself to look to follow that, the lessons that you're leaving us with. I know you have an event coming up.
I do.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I have an event coming up in August. It's August 17th through the 19th. It is called The State of Womanhood, Empowering the Whole Woman, Mind, Body, and Business. So I've been in the coaching, speaking industry for almost 15 years, and I've traveled extensively and attended countless conferences, countless women's empowerment events, and countless business events for women. And the one thing that I continued to see was we would talk about the business. So mind you, it's women's empowerment.
Yeah.
Women in business. We talk about the business. We talk about the technology. We talk about, how to meditate deeper and how to do a different yoga stance and how to eat properly. What I never experienced was us talking about the woman.
Yeah, the woman.
Because the business can become performative. And if I'm going to keep it real, even the meditation and the yoga can become performative.
Yes.
If we don't talk about the woman,
the core,
the woman, the core, the individual,
from inside out.
Absolutely.
How can we lift women from the inside out,
Absolutely.
not just the outside, not just the look, not just the career or the title we have. Who are you?
So this conference,
that's what your conference is all about.
This conference is holistic.
Yes,
it is holistic. It is mind, body, and business. Yes, we're going to talk about the business. We're going to talk about mental health. We're going to talk about subjects and topics that sometimes can be taboo. Unfortunately, today we found out about, designer Kate Spade.
Yeah.
And so on the
sad.
outside, we would look at her life from the
Successful,
outside.
yeah.
Right. And never give thought to what may be happening on the inside of the woman, a mother and a wife. What's going on the inside of this, what we perceive to be successful entrepreneur. And so this is a holistic event where we come together. Friday will be focused on business. Saturday will be focused on health and wellness. And Sunday, we're going to do a healing circle.
It's
and
gonna
we're going
be
to the spa
amazing.
for self-care.
Amazing, amazing.
Absolutely.
So when we come back, we're going to talk more about how can we empower women? What are we
Yeah.
doing now? How could we give them a couple of things just to see their life in different perspectives? So we are going to take a very short break and we'll be right back.
Snap-on dentures will change your life. And at Smiles Today Dental, we now offer the lowest price in town. Mini dental implants can stabilize your loose dentures permanently. Call Smiles Today Dental for a free consultation.
Friendly Ford's 2018 summer closeout event starts now. Yes.
Yes.
Yes to the best selection.
Yes.
Yes to free registration. Yes. Friendly Ford, Decatur and US 95.
Pay less and get more. Friendly Ford, you get more.
And we are back with an inspirational, a dear friend of mine, Dr. Frantonia. I want to just to tell them what your doctorate about. Can we talk about that a little bit before we go a little bit deeper on the
So my
subject?
doctorate is in metaphysical psychology. It is a theology doctorate in spiritual psychology. So we cover things like psychosexual spirituality, the first cause, so the thing behind the thing,
Okay,
right?
I like that.
And so it's interesting, my coaching clients will often, it's funny, when they first come in, they can be very frustrated with me because I'll ask a question and I'll ask the same question and I'll ask this, and we may spend the whole hour with one question.
Yeah.
Because the deeper you go, the more the layers are peeled off and you get to the core reason, the core cause, the core driver, the unconscious belief or behavior that is driving the outcome that we're seeing so that we can get to the outcome that we desire. And so because my work is primarily focused with women, there are 4 core areas we focus on. So it's women, sex, God, and money. Those are the 4 areas that women have been socially conditioned to give away their power.
That's
Sex, God, and money.
And socially, yes.
Socially,
Conditions.
spiritually,
Yeah.
religiously, depending on the government and the area of the world that you live in, those are the core areas that women have been socially conditioned. The minute the doctor says it's a girl, we diminish her in those areas.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So your job now, tell me, did you get this, did you study this because what happened to you? Or did you get it before?
No. It's recent, within the last 2 years. So I've been studying.
So without even you knowing, you wanted to go in that because she discovered, without even knowing this is what you did.
Without
you
even
went
knowing.
in that direction because that's what you meant to do. And you just found your true purpose. And by having this education and having the life education, you put those 2 together.
Absolutely.
That become powerful.
Absolutely.
Very powerful.
Absolutely. Here's what I believe. It's simply my belief. I believe that we inhabit this space, this plane, this planet, fully encoded with what our purpose is on this planet. I think that the conditioning that we get, the family we're born into, the socioeconomic, I mean, all the different, those narratives that we're born into can erase that purpose until something comes along and requires that you die unto yourself.
Say, wake up, this is what you're going to do.
Absolutely. That you die unto yourself and you call back those parts of yourself that existed before you knew you existed, so that you can get about the business of doing the work you're here on the planet to do.
And you know, when you go deep into layers, right, people, they don't think they have nothing there, but obviously, if it was so obvious for them, they'll fix it.
Yes.
Because it's too hidden, this is why they're not fixing it.
Well, and so
is that correct?
That is correct. Here's the other part that I believe, though, particularly in the society and the time we live in now with high technology. I say we're in a high-tech, low-touch society.
We're getting
People want a text
worse,
message and they want to have relationships over high tech, low touch. It creates a society where we are disconnected not only from each other but from ourselves. And so we normalize a lot of what is not normal. We normalize a lot of what could be diagnosed as depression. We normalize it. So now it's nothing to knock back a whole bottle of wine in a night and call it chic. Whereas if we looked at that 20 years ago, we would clearly identify that as self-medicating or food or hypersexuality.
Sure.
So a lot of those things now in the society we live in, we've normalized them. And so when we see our friend do it, we don't even think, hey, I wonder what's going on with Sue.
Yeah, let me check to see what's happening.
Exactly.
Well, I believe it's technology. We're not in touch anymore.
No.
I think if we use technology in the right way, such as watching someone like yourself giving them insights, or my other guests, they come in, we're using technology. We're on television and also we are online.
Yes.
Right? There is good part of technology if you know how to manage it.
Absolutely. Well, that's why, the whole idea of changing the world by empowering women is so core. If we as women get back to the core of who we are, which is our rhythms with nature, our body informs us about our rhythms with nature, whether it is our menses, whether it is menopause, which Lord have mercy, any of those cycles that we have as women, right? Those cycles inform us of how we are to operate and function in the world. So if we get back to that, something as simple as sitting down at the table eating dinner together, it reconnects you. Something as simple as gathering together once a month with a group of sisters around the full moon. Those things reconnect us.
Just by saying that, you're making me feel relaxed.
Absolutely.
Really, I mean, just getting away from everything.
Here's something really simple, like for your viewers. Go to the park, take off your shoes, and stand on the grass. Ground yourself and connect yourself to nature. When you wake up in the morning, pay attention to when you hear the first bird chirping and just reconnect yourself with the natural cycles of life.
Yes.
And
not regular on the phone,
Absolutely.
just go and connect.
Absolutely.
That's a great advice, very great advice. So let's get back to, I know they're going to learn a lot from here, but there is a lot more to learn on your event that's coming up. And I know that you are making choices who is going to teach and who's going to be because you know what you know that you know. You want to choose the speakers who doesn't just speak, who touches their hearts and make a difference in their world. I know you're going through the doing that right now because your event coming up in August, is that correct?
Yes, again, August 17th through the 19th here in Vegas.
Okay.
And so, yes, I'm going through the applications and I am so thrilled to say I had over 100 people submit applications, which simply says to me the message of this event resonates. One of the things that I was very strict on the application, I required that they show up not just to speak and to get, but that they showed up to impart. To give, and that it lined up with specific areas of empowering women.
Absolutely.
So that could be your spiritual life, your self-help, mental awareness, health and wellness, business, entrepreneurship, financial legacy. Those are the areas that I require that the speakers line up with. And so
you're covering so many areas.
Absolutely, because it's
and
the
you have
whole
to make
woman.
choice.
It's the whole
Absolutely.
woman. It's the whole woman. And so I am super excited about bringing this event to Las Vegas. And making sure that I am including people from Vegas, because I've got women from other countries who have applied to be speakers at this event. But it was very important to me that I did this here in my hometown, where I grew up, that I did this event where I pulled in other women that I've had an opportunity to sit kneecap to kneecap with, such as yourself, Amy, and make sure that we are involved in leaving a legacy, making sure that we are involved even in the what's going on in politics, that we, regardless of how you vote, that you get out and you do your civic duty. And so it's just, I'm excited. The seed was dropped into my spirit about 3 years ago. And
well,
it's finally
I'm so
happening.
excited to be part of this because when you connected with me and you kind of like, we're excited to just, I was so happy to see you doing it because it's about time for you to bring all these people together and share your wisdom. And I know you are going to empower a lot of women. And I feel so honored to be part of your event.
Thank you, thank you,
So,
thank you. I'm glad that you said yes.
Yes, I'm so looking forward to be part of your event, and I know we have a lot to do together and work together, and hopefully we'll work with the Women's Federation for World Peace,
Yes.
and not just in Las Vegas, go out there in the world and empower women all over the world. And hopefully we bring them to Vegas, because this is I call it the Mecca of
Yes.
every, people love to come to Vegas, not just to gamble and everything. We have a lot going on in Vegas here, a lot of empowering events. And I encourage you to check out this beautiful event, not just because I'm gonna be part of it, because I believe in it. I don't get involved in things I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
And I know you for 7 years. I know your spirit. I know how powerful you are and what you bring into the table. So it is my honor to be part of your event. I thank you for thinking of me.
Oh, you're welcome.
So-
You're welcome. So for any of your viewers
Give
that
us-
want to
yeah,
get
please.
information, the website is thestateofwomanhood.com. Again, it's thestateofwomanhood.com. All of the information will be there. Vendor opportunities are available, and we look forward to
Having you.
having you there, and just sharing in sisterhood with women from every walk of life. I am
Yes.
super excited about
So we
this.
invite you from all over the United States to come on and meet with us and see the other speakers and see what Dr. Frantonia, she's bringing to the table. And I guarantee you will walk away inspired, empowered, and encouraged to take action towards a better life. So thank you so much again for having you. And until next time, don't let anything take you down. Stay focused on your purpose.